Superhero comics often deliver epic stories, but some storylines spark intense debates among fans. These controversial arcs don't always mean the writing or direction is bad, yet they manage to provoke strong reactions across the comic book community. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to join the discussion. We've gathered 8 of the most controversial comics that shook the Marvel and DC universes. These stories not only challenged readers' perceptions of their favorite heroes and villains, but also demonstrated the incredible influence these publishers have over the comic book world. Captain America faced one of the most shocking moments in Marvel Comics history in the death of Captain America from 2007. Following the events of the Civil War, Steve Rogers was taken into custody by S.H.I.E.L.D., but was shot and killed, sending ripples through the superhero community. Fans were stunned as Steve had been a symbol of hope since World War II and a key leader of the Avengers. The comic explored the weight of his legacy and the consequences of his absence in the Marvel Universe. Bucky Barnes stepped up to take the shield and honor Steve's legacy, proving himself as a capable hero under immense pressure. At the time, deaths of major characters were not common, making Steve's death even more controversial. Readers debated whether this bold move enhanced or harmed ongoing storylines. This arc remains a landmark in showing how impactful and divisive superhero deaths can be. Speedy faced one of the most controversial stories in DC Comics history in Snowbirds Don't Fly from 1971. The story revealed that Roy Harper, Green Arrow's young sidekick, was struggling with drug addiction and street gangs. This shocking revelation opened a public debate about substance abuse among youth. Readers were confronted with the harsh reality of addiction affecting even beloved heroes. The storyline brought an unprecedented level of social awareness to superhero comics. The comic carefully showed the dangers of drug use, including the tragic death of one of Speedy's friends from an overdose. It balanced storytelling with a moral lesson, highlighting the consequences of addiction. Fans were surprised to see a young hero in such a vulnerable position. The arc remains a landmark for tackling real-world issues in superhero narratives. Snowbirds Don't Fly showed how comics could address serious societal problems responsibly. Gwen Stacy became the center of one of Marvel Comics' most controversial stories in Sins Past from 2004. The storyline revealed she had a secret affair with Norman Osborn and became pregnant with twins, shocking fans. Peter Parker's past was rewritten in ways many considered disrespectful to his story. The narrative challenged long-held perceptions of Spider-Man's relationships. Readers reacted strongly, debating the ethical and emotional implications of altering a beloved character's history. The story escalated as it was revealed that Osborn used genetic manipulation to age the twins, creating a dilemma for Peter. Fans were outraged by the betrayal of Gwen's character and the shift in Spider-Man's past. The plot explored themes of deception, legacy, and responsibility. It remains a divisive arc in Spider-Man lore. Sins Past showed how controversial storytelling can provoke debate among fans. Spider-Man faced one of Marvel Comics' most controversial stories in One More Day from 2006. The story explored an alternate future where Peter Parker was elderly and retired, confronting a third-age Sinister Six and J. Jonah Jameson with Dr. Octopus's tentacles. Fans were shocked by these changes and the reasoning behind Peter's retirement. The story challenged readers' expectations of Spider-Man's life and legacy. It pushed boundaries in showing darker personal consequences for heroes. The narrative revealed Peter retired after Mary Jane Watson's death, but the circumstances were shocking. Her death was linked to Peter's radiation exposure from the genetically modified spider bite, creating a cancer that ended her life. Fans were outraged by the controversial explanation. The story explored themes of consequence, loss, and moral responsibility. One More Day remains one of Spider-Man's most debated and polarizing arcs. Ultimatum became one of Marvel Comics' most controversial storylines in 2008. The arc focused on the Ultimate Universe, which had introduced characters like Miles Morales, but the story shifted to Earth 616 to simplify the narrative. Fans were shocked as the story escalated into violence and deaths, testing the limits of superhero storytelling. The event questioned the consequences of unchecked power among heroes and villains. Ultimatum pushed boundaries and left a mark on the Marvel Universe. Magneto triggered worldwide destruction by reversing the planet's magnetic poles, causing massive casualties. Iconic characters suffered gruesome fates. Blob consumed Wasp's body, Hank Pym crushed Blob's head, Doctor Strange's head exploded, and Cyclops killed Magneto. The story shocked readers while dividing opinions. Ultimatum explored the dark potential of superhero conflicts. It remains one of the most debated arcs in Marvel. Nightwing faced one of the most controversial stories in DC Comics history in Nightwing the 93 from 2004. The story showed Dick Grayson teaming up with Tarantula to confront Blockbuster in Bloodhaven. During the battle, Dick allowed his ally to kill the villain, but was shocked and passed out afterward. This storyline pushed boundaries and shocked readers with its dark and unexpected turn. Fans debated how far comics could go in exploring trauma and moral complexity in superheroes. Tarantula took advantage of Dick while he was unconscious, committing an act that sparked intense controversy. The event was portrayed in various ways, showing that abuse can affect both men and women. Due to the sensitive nature, DC chose not to revisit the story in later issues. Readers were divided over the depiction and its impact on Nightwing's character. The arc remains one of the most debated and disturbing moments in his comic history. The Joker became the center of one of DC Comics' most controversial stories in The Killing Joke from 1988. The story explored his theory that a single bad day could turn anyone into a villain, targeting Commissioner Gordon to prove his point. Gordon was exposed to disturbing images of his daughter, Barbara Gordon, as Batgirl, shocking readers and testing the limits of comic storytelling. The storyline challenged the moral boundaries of heroes and villains. Fans were shocked by the plot. Although the image's exact nature was unclear, the impact on readers was undeniable. The Joker's plan ultimately failed to break Gordon, but the story showed Batman reacting violently, grabbing the Joker by the throat. The final panels left readers unsettled, highlighting the thin line between heroism and vengeance. The arc remains one of the most debated stories in Batman's history. The Killing Joke pushed the boundaries of what could be explored in superhero comics. Lost in Spacetime became one of Marvel Comics' most controversial storylines in 1985. The arc followed three superhero teams traveling across different timelines, creating dark narratives. Hank Pym lost his ability to shrink or grow, leading to frustration and a suicide attempt, sparking debate about mental health and the value of life. The story pushed the boundaries of what was shown in superhero comics. Fans were shocked by the emotional depth and mature themes explored in the arc. Meanwhile, the Wasp was imprisoned with the West Coast Avengers while trying to escape the time-space prison. Ghost Rider gave her a love potion, resulting in sexual abuse, which she discovered later, fueling anger and refusal to help him. The storyline provoked discussion about consent and morality in comics. Readers were divided over how far the narrative went in depicting trauma. Lost in Spacetime remains one of Marvel's darkest and most debated storylines. These controversial comics pushed boundaries and challenged what readers expected from superheroes. Each story sparked debates and left lasting impacts on the Marvel and DC universes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to join the conversation.